have it for you.
Not forget that. What is it?
Yeah. I will walk for you.
Walk where?
You can drive, I will walk for you.
Oh.
Yeah.
What are driving?
I don't need anything once I have you. Don't need to eat or drink. I just
Selling
want you.
you. Selling you.
You want to dance?
Selling you. Selling
I'm
you.
ready to die
Selling
for
you.
you.
Right.
Selling you. Selling you. Selling you.
Alright guys, Mars versus Venus,
They
let's
say
go.
men are from Mars and women are from Venus. But me and think that divide wide enough to talk about the gap between us. Is Rab's back and island contention. We have all of that in the session. Let we talk man and woman thing. Warriors, Jamets, queens and kings. We ain't sure if men are from Mars and women are from Venus. But a little comments on our Friday. Jaiga, Raw, Rody versus Abby. 3 man and 1 Jamet from South. That's what we're talking about.
Yes, sir.
Brr. Easy. Yeah. What are the topic, you know?
Hey.
We are talking about
We're talking trust and protection.
protection.
Alright guys, we're talking trust and protection today.
Eh?
What does trust and protection, or what does
Mostly
protection?
protection.
Yeah,
What does
mostly
protection
mean to you.
mean to you? Protection of a
relationship.
significant other.
Yeah,
How
man.
do you protect your significant other? And this is across the gender and sex lines. So ladies, what does it mean to you when we say
You're
we want to
protecting your man?
protect your man? What that mean? And fellas, what does it mean, of course, to you?
Physically, spiritually, and mentally.
And emotionally.
Across the board.
How do you
And
protect
emotionally.
your loved one? Not your loved ones. We're not talking children.
That one person and one special
We're talking the person who gets heaven and earth when they're in you.
Yeah.
That's what we're talking about. Hey.
What? In the who?
Hoi, hoi.
So how you protecting the hoi hoi?
No. Don't it's not about protecting me. No.
No.
Guys, let
The
us
holder
not-
of the hoi hoi.
The
The
holder.
holder of the hoi hoi.
You understand?
How do you protect
Kinda
that?
how
What
to
does it
protect
mean
the
to
hoi
you,
hoi.
Rudy?
Because
I think one key thing is proper communication, right? That is one way of protecting your partner. And honesty. I think honesty is a big one for me too. You know? I think communication sums it up.
Yeah.
Because communication will go across the board when you talk about, you know, spirituality, mental capacity, and having constructive conversations and finding solutions, and you know, physically your body could communicate without even having to say anything. You know, so communication and honesty to me is 2 big ones.
Ultimate protection.
Yeah, man.
for me,
Being
I
able to
think,
pray together and these kind of things is
I
important.
think protection for me is being emotionally available
Yeah.
to the person, to your person, and having a understanding of self to know that there's sometimes in most relationships where you have to balance the relationship in a way where you need to understand when that person needs their time and when that person needs you. I mean, and I'm not just talking about being able to pay the wakaman or get somebody to come and wash down the gutter, you know, clean the yard. I'm talking about where you could interject and be that beacon of hope. Sometimes all somebody's need, especially if they're having a rough patch, is the reassurance of you
Yeah,
saying,
facts.
hey, all right, yeah, it's all good. You'll make it through.
Yeah.
You understand? We really want to go and buy soup from myself and it's $35, but we
Yeah,
can't
we can't do that, right?
See, there what? We walk down the avenue and we eat $2 each and keep it pushing.
And it's about being safe to come to your partner and be vulnerable to her. Like, people don't like to be vulnerable anymore.
Yeah.
They always have their guard up and their wall up, and
You don't want to
Take
share
a
the
long,
fact that you have
long
a
time.
boil on the
It was
take
big
a
gangsters
long,
crying
long
this
time now,
morning.
for you to reach that point where you could just fully open up and have any kind of discussion. You could share your emotions without being in a place where you know you're always
Without
feeling
being
like you're
judged.
being judged. Yeah. You know, that's important.
Because, as we always say here, well, not we, one of us, Not even the Caucasian in this guy could judge. You understand? At the end of the day, you have to be responsible. You have to be, how should I put it, boy? You have to have accountability for your actions at all times. And even in the worst of times, you have to know that it's a sense of comfort that there's somebody that you can lean on. Not just to change a tire or to lend you 100, but to lean on for something that is greater than money. And that's one of the biggest misconceptions I think in relationships to date. People feel that when you're looking for comfort, when you tell somebody what you're bringing to the table, it's always measured by numerals. You understand? It's by commas. At the end of the day, somebody can bring something to the table. And let us not fool ourselves. Finances is always in the conversation because we live in a world of coin. We cannot exist without it. Without it, we will all wither. But you have to have intelligent conversations about money with your significant other. The conversations that will say, listen, and be honest to the fact that, especially where men are concerned, men often create unnecessary wars with themselves and others in the pursuit of trying to please for the wrong reason. Because there are men, there are kings and emperors before this time who has ravished people and wars because they feel the perception of their queen is that they want something and they feel that they have to go there and get it for her without having a conversation. Sometimes not every woman who operates in a space, and then two women also have to be mindful that words are the most powerful thing in this land. And some women wield words without proper training. They just wheel it and don't understand when it leaves your tongue and it touches the ear of somebody who's not mentally balanced, it can have traumatic results. You tell the wrong man the wrong thing, the wrong thing in the wrong time.
Well, it goes both ways, eh?
Yeah, I know, but
it goes both ways.
if we look at statistics, Abby, women will tell you, most of the men, if you go in the jailhouse and you sit down and you really get to the essence and the core as to why he is there. And this is studies that has been done. You will hear it comes from mommy. It stems from seeing mommy, the father leaving money.
We're going to have the business money.
Let's just be mindful. Let me just interject there. Let's be mindful. And I agree with you. People don't operate in a vacuum. And it goes back to what Rodi was asking me earlier in terms of forgiveness and accountability. My belief system is about choice and consequence. So yes, things don't happen in a vacuum, and there are certain situations and spaces that can lead us in a certain direction to do certain things. But at the end of the day, we have to be responsible for our own actions.
Correct.
You understand? Correct. You have choice and you have consequence. So let's be mindful of going in the direction of casting blame.
I don't want anybody to think I'm casting.
It could be interpreted that way, so we're not going in that direction.
I am not casting blame. I'm asking that every individual take accountability for their actions.
Of what you say and the impact that it can have, what you do, the impact that it can have. And that for me is where the safety comes in terms of protection. For me, it's about safe space, which encapsulates everything you all said so beautifully. In terms of the communication, the willingness to be vulnerable, the honesty, and it's not even just about honesty of what you say, it's also about the honesty of what you do, the intent behind your words, the honesty in terms of the kind of emotion you are willing to share. And I say this in terms of somebody for whom, that's still a work in progress with me. There are a lot of women, particularly my black sisters, and it's a trauma response in a lot of ways in terms of how we navigate the world. This it's not a facade. I was gonna say this, sometimes it's a facade of strength, so to speak, because we've had to for so long, and then sometimes you end up in a space with somebody that you really, really care about, and you are unable to put it down for a minute, to allow yourself the grace, to allow yourself the grace to be vulnerable. And that's when the miscommunication starts to happen. That's when the confusions and whatnot starts to happen, that puts you in a place where you become unsafe.
Yeah, but to me too,
while navigating the world.
To me too, society and the media has continuously, and they continue to do it, paint this picture that our community especially supposed to be one with each other.
With each other. Yeah.
Man and woman
Nope.
are talking about this
Nope.
is a constant competition, my boy,
Hmm.
to see who should be the lead. When we're not even supposed to be having that conversation, right? There are a lot of women out there who's emasculated, man. And I being real with you, it are certain men, and maybe myself too, maybe, because I'm not perfect. If I'm in a relationship with a woman for 10, 15, 20 years, and I accustomed to her pointing out all my faults, letting me know why I'm not doing right, yeah, he's not a good father, yeah, he's not a good husband, but you in your head, you think you're doing all that you have to do, but this woman just can't, for the love of God, see any good in you. I could slap somebody out there.
No, that's your
I could slap somebody out there.
It gets deeper
Somebody
than
could
that.
get slapped.
It gets deeper than that too, Rudy. Sometimes
In the most vulnerable moment, somebody could get slapped out there.
And this is also too where we have to talk about, again, going back to mental and emotional health and emotional intelligence and all this kind of stuff in terms of how do you navigate that, because the mental and emotional abuse does not only just go one way. You understand what I mean? It does not only just go one way. So it then asks us things like, how do men navigate that versus how women navigate that?
Right.
Because a man might say somebody could get slapped, whereas a woman, you know, the likelihood of it going in the direction of it getting physical in that regard is different. And then we have to have the discussion, why is it?
I would love to see somebody get slapped.
You want to see somebody get slapped?
Probably that's how she think about
That's
it.
how she might think about it. Well, I guess for some women, the man getting to the point of physical abuse, not towards them, but maybe towards someone else, is a sign. Well, my man, you can't come around here, you know, because you know you're likely to get two bellas. You understand what I mean? Is that really what we see as protection? Is that what we see as how we validate strength within a relationship? I would hate to think that is, particularly within our community, as you said, that is what that is. I think there is power in our families, there's power in our relationships, and making the choice to actively continue to work on our families and our relationships is a very, very, that in itself is resistance and revolution.
Yeah, but let's be fair, that's one of the biggest problems we have. We've grown so accustomed to seeing our families decapitated that we believe that that's the norm.
Right.
For instance, when Rudy said a woman constantly pointing out your flaws, she might not point out your flaws because she think it's a flaw, you know. She is so programmed in her mind that her mother never had a successful relationship, so how dare I have one? So I have to operate in a space as though this is normal for me. Like, there is no way, when you grow up in a space where you hear your aunts, your granny, your mommy say men are disgusting, men are trash, men are this, men are the worst, men are the da-da-da-da. When you find yourself with somebody who
just like your father
checks the boxes, right?
Right.
And is playing on your vulnerability, have you in a space where you unsure if to be happy or not. You then start questioning yourself. And in questioning yourself, you start to go down the road of, now he can't be that good. So then you pick at everything. It's not like they're doing it on purpose because you have a flaw. Sometimes it works that way. It's not all the time. I am telling, and the sad truth is, as we're speaking, our community has grown up accustomed to seeing, as I say, the divide and the separation. We have grown accustomed, I don't want to say the word glorified, let me pull back. We have became accustomed
to certain narratives.
To narratives like single mother. That is now cool.
I don't know if it's cool, you know.
No. I'm talking. It's not. It mightn't be cool, but I'm talking about it's accepted.
It's associated with our community.
With our community.
Certain kind of a way.
Of
I
course.
get that. But what I would also say is, you see, and this is when we have these kinds of conversations, you can't have it only in terms of the emotional and interpersonal vacuum, because nothing operates in a silo. There are historical influences as to why certain things happen within certain communities.
Right.
Why our men in particular, their worth is so linked to the financial, the dollars and cents, as it because our bodies were commodified at one point in time.
Correct.
Our bodies itself were commodified at one point in time.
The stronger you are, the more money you worth.
Right. And then from that physical actual commodification, it became, they send we out into the world, and then it became about about your commodification being linked to your worth, still being linked to your worth. So there's that. And then in the midst of all of that, there was also the historical context of how our relationships were structured and framed. You understand? And there's still residue of that. So when we hear Granny and them say certain things about men, the relationships that they would have had, there was certain historical context why certain things happened a certain way. You understand what I mean? And even though Granny and great aunt and them stayed in relationships long, we hear my grandmother married 50 years, you know. How much home she take?
Yeah, she take plenty.
How much lick she take? How much other people children she mind, etc. And then as women became more independent, they started outperforming boys in school, etc., etc. We got a certain level of financial agency and body autonomy, etc. Women started to understand that we didn't need to stay in a relationship and take them thing. So the dynamic kind of flipped. But in the flipping of the dynamic, we still never unpacked
and
addressed
exactly what
certain
needed to be
things.
addressed. Yeah.
So the toxicity
Now,
still remains.
This is where the
you know what I
competition
mean?
starts.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So the toxicity still remains. So when we're talking about protection, and it's interesting that our protection is so linked to these things: financial agency, how we it's not just about how we treat each other. It's about how we can safeguard each other in certain social systems, so to speak. And we I don't think we are having the kind of conversations that we need to have with each other and as a community.
And the media is not helping.
Yeah, single parent is not only just a stereotype. It's not just a narrative. It's also rooted in statistical evidence in terms of which communities, particularly in Trinidad and Tobago, we have fractured nuclear family systems, right? So a lot of the times when you have women out here perceiving the world in a certain way, it is not because they're imagining it, it's because they've experienced it, or they've seen their friends experience it, or they grew up in it. How do we unpick and unpack that? You know, and these are things too that is not, it is not supposed to be just the burden of the woman to bear that unpicking and unpacking. Our men, you know, I want to have these conversations with the man that I with.
That's the thing. Within these things only happen when the conversation starts. The conversation needs to happen. And sometimes when you're willing to have those conversations and you create the platforms to have these conversations, at times it seems as though instead of it being a concern, like from a man's point of view, instead of it being a concern, it always comes across like, are you trying to control me or what? You know? And many times right. I've had those kind of conversations, and that is the way it's come across. It's like, you see you, I realize you're trying to control what I'm doing. No, it's not control, it's genuine concern for your well-being and what you may be thinking and how you perceive certain conversations.
Right.
In a way. And another thing too is, I heard this saying, someone who is accustomed to drama and finally finds peace is so uncomfortable with being in that space of peace that they will go back to drama, you know.
Yeah.
Like they're just not accustomed to understanding and knowing and being in that space where they just at peace with everything, and you know,
they exist in trauma.
They just go straight back to the drama.
Permanent state of trauma. That's a very, very
just go straight back there.
Very real thing. But it again is about accepting what is my culpability in a particular situation as a woman and what is your culpability as a man. And again, as you say, communication, safe space, ability to be vulnerable. And it don't have to come to fisticuffs.
Yeah.
I'm not saying if I am physically in danger, I wouldn't want my man to step up. Please and thanks. Please and thanks. You know, physical danger. And same for you.
But you say gender equality, hits him back! Hits him! Man, you say gender, hits him!
Yeah.
Baby duck!
Baby duck! Baby duck! Yes. Physical, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's a part of me, I want to know that the man that I'm with is capable of it. So
yeah, but I just show you my capabilities. I'm supporting you in your time of battle.
He can swing
when it's needed.
I also need to know he can pick me up and run.
Yeah, but why swing?
Kill out, Mr. Killer vibe.
Pick me up and run.
But why swing when I can tell you, Doc?
It's true.
True.
But I will tell you duck. I'm telling you to duck. But if I realize you can't,
dodging bullet already.
I realize you
you
can't duck.
don't understand what I'm saying. We say we want gender equality,
Yes.
right? So
Why
I'm
swing?
saying, why should I swing when I can tell you duck?
You right. You right.
It's like, honey, watch your name, patang.
You
Oh,
see my instinct is to swing now. So I want to make sure if I swing.
I swinging with you.
Yes.
I hope you
You have
learn
to
to
swing
survive.
with me. You understand? Yeah.
I
If
think
I swing and you want to swing too.
Well, again, if you're in a relationship like that, guys, you have to have that conversation in the early parts.
Yeah.
That's why it's so
If
important
you
to
could
have
fight?
the 22 questions.
So you could
It's very important. In that
On a scale of 1
conversation,
to 10.
yeah. On a scale of 1 to 10, we get in an altercation.
I do karate now. before
Are
the
you
shoot.
Are you
able-
running?
Or are we standing ground?
So what do we do?
You understand?
Let me know.
You have to know the person you're with,
Yeah,
really.
yeah, according to the situation, right?
You understand?
According to the situation.
You have to know the person you're with because how
Like what we
dare
do?
you? Come on.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, why communication
So,
is still number one.
Yeah,
there.
we getting our brawl and you go, no, we
Run!
need to know, we
I
need
have
to
to
know.
know that when the mad blood fly up in my head and
Uh-huh.
you see me start to launch, that you can pick me up and move me.
Yeah.
You know? So that we avoid a court case.
Facts.
Understand? So guys,
Facts,
talking
facts.
about protection comes in different forms. And my thing is, we talk about it all the time. Every time we hear, we talk about unlearning and how important it is. About everything that Abby just said. It just brings me back to the point where we have to, there's a lot of unpacking and healing, but we also have to unlearn a lot of things as well. Because when you hear the term, we hear the term single parent to mean you're not with the next person. That's what we call single parent, isn't it? Once you're not with the next person
All right.
in a relationship.
Right.
Uh-huh.
But everything that comes to the child, because the most important thing in that space is the child. If you and someone has a child and that child is balanced and you can sense and breathe and see happiness within that child and it's a happy child, both parents are doing an amazing job. That is not of course.
My mommy did an amazing job. My mommy.
Okay,
So
well,
your uncle
And,
part
and my
in it
uncle
too,
and my
bro.
grandmother and my
Thank
great
you.
aunts. And
Yeah.
So still
You had
extended
you had
family.
a village.
Yeah, I
Thank
did have a
you.
village.
Yeah.
I did
you
have a
in your
village.
case is different
Yeah.
because your mom raised you as a single parent,
Right.
correct?
But with extended family.
But she had help.
Yeah.
I am saying there are a lot of people now, and you're seeing it more and more, where back in the days, because of how it was set up, honestly, men dropped the ball. They weren't there. No, men are actively in their children's lives.
And big ups to the men that making that effort.
When I talk about actively, I'm talking about
Please
it.
and
The
tell
most
us.
amazing thing is when you can have a conversation
As
with a
you should.
father and he knows the ins and outs of his children.
Yeah.
The goings, the comings,
As he
the
should.
whatever, as he should.
Because you're a parent.
And understanding that you have to fight for that and understand that we need to be bigger than the conversation or the bitterness between the parents. That to me, that a long time thing. You see, Carl, let me tell you, I think that chip it thing, I find we need to, that right there, to me, that's not even that chip it. That's how I look at it now.
Right.
You see,
A little excited.
you see,
You want like
Nah.
excitement.
you see that
You wanna
CMCF
chill,
drama
you
thing?
wanna chill, you wanna chill, you wanna chill, you wanna chill.
You know, excitement.
I find that to me that is in that long time thing. I look at that as a old school, as a old beanie man, a dance hall track.
It's about co-parenting.
Come on, co-parenting is cool. That for cool kids, bro.
Yeah.
Co-parenting is for cool kids, but you have to have a greater understanding about what it is you want for yourself and your children. And once you could get to that point, it makes everything easier. Trust me. When you change your mindset about how that's supposed to look, it makes everything easier. When you could, it's no fuss and fight because at the end of the day, the child is here. It's your responsibility to groom a perfect human being, well, as perfect as you can while you're on earth, and prepare them for your demise. Or not demise, your departure. Your
Right.
job as a parent is to raise your children for your passing. When you get your children to the point where they can accept that it's time for you to die, you have done an amazing
Ready,
job.
Clearly, mommy didn't do a good job with me because me ready.
Yeah.
I'm
You
not
understand?
ready. I refuse.
So, and that's what it is. So we need to realize we are all here, whether it's for a year, 40, 80, 85, 90. It's all one timing. You don't be here twice. People need to understand you're not here twice, you're here once. Some might have to be a little fortunate than others to be here longer than, but don't matter the length of time, it's just one time.
Yeah. Make it count on you.
So you have to make it count. So what is the sense of fussing and fighting and looking for rabs? All you're doing is depriving yourself of longer.
Because I love it.
No, but all
You
it
love
is
Rams.
is-
I just love it.
I love a Rams. all this is part of protection, you know.
Some people is a
This
little
is the conversation about what protection means, and when I mean, we're trying to stay away from the hot topic that's been buzzing.
Now
pretty hard.
that
It's
is
not
nonsense.
that. It's not that.
Protection is greater
It's
than
not
that.
that. But what we are saying is that there's been a lot of discourse that has come out of that, right? In terms of what does it mean to protect?
Correct.
What does it mean to protect? For me, it's like protection is also your communication is so on point that you could watch your significant other across a room, because let's say something play off in a room, and both of you watch each other, and everybody know what the assignment is. Everybody know what the assignment is, because the way I watch you, you don't know, pull back, or you know. Meet me outside, or it's time to go, or whatever. You understand? All that is protection. As in, you speak the same language, or if you don't speak the same love language, you understand the other person's love language. I am not the most, and this is sound very, very funny, because I talk a lot.
Right.
I talk well, bro. But that does not necessarily mean I'm the most verbally expressive in a relationship. I'm not. I am tactile and I'm acts of service. Don't tell me when I do something and then you don't do it.
She's still crying for you.
Fire rate.
How long it take?
Fire rate.
She's still crying for the man because he put the sidewall by she.
So do me that.
You do that?
No, you do it.
So do me
She's
that.
still vexed.
You understand?
So you out.
But again, I might be with someone who is very verbal.
You need 18 bag of cement. I said that again for
It's 2
4.
yard.
You need 2 yard gravel over 2700 a yard.
The point is, you have to understand your significant
What
other's
enough.
love language, so that you know what situations will trigger them, and you know not what to do not to trigger them and to put them in a situation where they will be in danger.
So what if everything does trigger them? Like everything is a
That
trigger.
sounds like a problem for a therapist.
Every single thing.
That sounds like a problem for a
The people
therapist.
to help you with that.
Why you blinking so hard?
Is a new age woman who has been or is a single mother has had to learn how to handle everything. Not by choice but by necessity. So that includes finances, right? But the thing is that most men equate their value to finances. So it now becomes the woman's responsibility to see where he might be not as confident, because she doesn't need him for anything, but she wants him. And then she has to learn how to tone it down and pull it back so that he could step forward and do what makes him comfortable. What makes him comfortable is what she now has to identify and bring to the front. Right?
Lily.
But you see that narrative of, well, based on this whole Will Smith thing, protecting black women. But this protecting black women on the necks of black men is not protection. And we've seen a lot of black women talking about, yes, I would want my man to do that for me. But you want your man to risk jail. You want your man to risk death in the name of protecting your ego.
Hey you.
Correct, everything.
Hey you.
That is madness. You really don't love black men, and it's not really about protecting black men. It's nonsense.
It's ego. It's tied up
That
in
is
ego.
a fact.
Tied up in ego, sis. Ooh.
That is another fact.
Hey.
Everybody likes to be protected, male and female. So I am the type I will check people for my mister, because that's my job. Like in terms of if it's a female, some of them hostess, they bring the wrong thing. Yeah, they want. I know that's not what you want.
That is me. That's me.
My mister know how to pull duck and weave, because something and no truth is not for
The weak.
Damn.
In terms of the co-parenting, if everybody just do what they're supposed to do at that point, because we already been in terms of being a couple, that could have dialogue without it reaching good poetry.
Of
And a lot
course.
people cannot have that, because one parent either sees it as, you can't tell me so, and it has always been ego who's so take you out of the situation, you should be fine.
Of course.
Yeah,
That's how the
yeah.
people go to rest
That
now.
ego.
That is
ego.
another fact.
And
Guys,
it's difficult to take ego.
Guys, I
right?
understand you're passionate, but I'm seeing 2 and 3 minutes and 1.5
No,
minute voice
no,
notes.
no,
That can't
no,
work.
therapy
Open up a can
earlier.
of worms, boy.
That cannot
You want
move,
the
guys.
therapy,
Open it
yeah?
up.
Sorry,
Open
I
it up.
cannot listen to voice notes that
One make
long.
your appointment, eh?
You understand?
Right?
And it's not that expensive. They have
Come
discounts going on
on.
at $375 hour. I could hook her up.
Wow.
2-3 minutes.
And have a
Yeah,
sale. Have a sale.
A
right?
sale on therapy sale.
$375. Yeah. You register for 3 months and you get it. It's $375.
Wow.
You can give all the numbers a call. Just say.
This now.
Because no. I should not plug that
No, I
in.
hear you.
You know legally they're not supposed to do that, right?
Really?
No, therapists
no,
cannot
no,
advertise.
Oh yes,
Dentists
it's
too?
true.
Dentists not supposed to do
I don't
that.
think doctors in general.
Doctors not supposed to do that.
That's
No
what I
medical
say. You're not supposed to
practitioners.
Yeah,
advertise.
It's
Yeah.
true. Lawyers too.
Yeah. But them tricky, you know, they put his face on boss.
It's true. You're right. You're right.
Yeah,
You're running on that on Facebook right now, 1,500 are paying braces right now. Come and get it, come and get it. Braces.
Now, you had to find clever ways to pay yourself out there. So what they tend to do now, realize the new trend with them. Hey, it's talking about dentist top of the morning to Akon
Your
and
dentist.
Dr. Blackman.
This is amazing.
My dentist is amazing, but I'm realizing a trend with most dentists now. They wear bikinis on a Monday.
Oh, you like?
Yeah. They
Monday's a day off.
or they wear bikinis on a Monday, bro.
Advertising.
And they go on the beach and they smile. And I can tell you, let me come smile with me. Man, let's be all in the DM. And when you go in the DM to smile at them, yeah, but my practice is. Hey, most of them right now, I saw the trend. All them dentists is hot, girl. It's only a hot girl dentist out there.
It's only right.
That's how you get
It's
through.
only right.
No. Me and my girl is up now. Me and my girl
She's
are
happy
Before
married.
she reach on the beach.
She's happily married as well. And
Okay.
we cool. We've been cool
I'm
some
on
years.
the beach with her as well.
You understand?
Don't rock it up.
But I'm saying, I realize the trend now for most dentists. You had to be a hot girl. Realize all them little steel. Jaiga put
Pull
that,
back.
not steel. All those relaxed
Uh-huh.
and regular looking dentists. Practicing our problem.
Let's
these
try
days.
it.
What is a regular looking dentist?
What's
What's a regular looking dentist?
You ain't have lace fronts on.
Wow.
You ain't micro in your eyebrow.
Right.
You don't wear lashes.
Oh, okay.
You understand? Your nails not done.
But it's steady.
You're practicing a shambles. Right
Dental
now.
school not easy, yeah?
Old
Right.
fashioned.
So did
Yeah,
you
you old fashioned.
Yeah.
You still trying to do a practice that your father had 40 years ago.
All the hot
All
girl
them hot
dentists.
girl and them. You see when they go in the waiting room,
Ladies'
them
room.
have water fountain.
Yes.
That special thing to press for
Yes.
cold water to come out
Yes.
and hot water sliding on the
Yes.
side. All kind of nice things.
If I was going to be a doctor, I'd have been a
magazine
dentist.
and
Yeah, you still have magazine and go. Them new dentists and them have iPad for you to touch
Yes.
and watch what's going on.
Dentists are amongst the highest paid amongst the
Yeah,
medical
magazine
professionals,
and
and they have the best hours. I would be a dentist too,
From the time you walk in
I
a
would be a
dentist and you
dentist.
see old magazine and you think, don't go there.
but they study hard and long, and they probably was looking most hang up when they were studying, so let them look best now.
Nice
Right?
dentist.
Shouting out all-
Siri compliant.
All the lady dentists.
You can pull up iTunes and play what you want. You
Hello.
can have your song selection
Hello.
while you sit on the chair.
Hello.
And they ask you, what do you want to listen to?
Yes.
You want to connect your phone to a Bluetooth? When I go by you and you still have a radio and the girl in front of the reception is tapping the radio for you to get reception. I'm not coming by you! Keep your place, I don't care.
You get
Hot
nice.
girl dentists or nothing.
Hot girl dentist or nothing.
32 teeth in your mouth, 31 rotten, and 1 shaking. Yeah, I bought it. You did it style.
Hey! Okay, let me get back on track. Let me get back on track.
Anyway,
We're talking
but yes.
protection, but that's a form of protection to taking a significant other to the right dentist.
Yes.
Yeah.
Making
You
sure
understand?
that their health is taken care of.
Yeah, that's a form of protection
Encouraging
as
your
well.
man to go to the doctor when something wrong and don't stay home and eat pain.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Good morning to the panel. Special good morning, Mr. Baby. Mr. Baby, I tend to 100% agree with your morning magic, but anyways,
That's okay. That's okay. I said it was controversial.
And Naja being a man in my house who continues to knock down barriers, she was recognized for having one of the top math scores.
Ay, boy. Ay. You're lying.
Yeah.
Nice.
And she's so cute.
As my salary increases and I get bonus after first quarter, so does the targets get knocked down.
Yeah, that you? You could have been a dentist.
It's only right.
Naja,
And
You
she
could have been a dentist, but you choose
Money.
that.
She's right and cute. okay for that.
Never, you could have been a hot girl dentist, but you chose that. You chose that life. You could have been a hot girl dentist. All no say.
But you didn't want to be great, so.
You didn't want to be great, so get it try what she wants. Somebody tell you that
So
you.
she could be a hot girl then.
Exactly. You could have been a hot girl dentist. You miss your chance. You understand?
No. What you say is really untrue, you know. I went at dentist the other day. Back in the chair, it's on a TV above me.
That's what we say.
That's why
I'm doing this. No, them dentists and them high class now.
proper thing,
Yes.
man.
Yeah, that flat screen in the ceiling. Yeah, that's correct.
Yeah.
That flat screen in the ceiling. If you don't have flat screen in the
You
ceiling,
know
don't
why
bother
you're
to
doing
come
it
up
too?
with.
Because people have a history of being terrified of dentists. So if you make the space nice,
Yeah.
you go keep
That's
your
what it's
appointments.
Guys, it might sound like we went off course. The reason why I mention it is because we have seen over the years how that profession has changed.
Right.
And we're now in a space where they have to find innovative ways to continue doing what they do and to do it well and to encourage people to come. It's the same way we as individuals have to change our thinking. We are still operating like old dentists and playing thing outside, and when you go is a black gate and you have to ring it, and when you come the man think, well, the whole place smelling old.
And you have on a shirt jack.
And you have on a shirt jack. When you go by a dentist nowadays in a shirt jack, don't go please.
Good to see you.
Please.
Turn around.
Turn around.
I haven't seen you in a while.
Yeah, don't do that please. You understand? No, I'm saying.
And they have front panel, you know that wall on the wall and the panel.
They still have panel wood on the wall. That is not. Watch me. When I go by the
And
dentist,
from AC.
my dentist have one nice scrubs and Yeezys and thing.
Yeah.
Them have one Yeezys and nice scrubs and thing, and the apple and they jiggy with it. You understand? And that's what he's talking about. You have to treat your relationships right now.
How's those teeth of yours?
Hey!
When you bring in the kids. Don't wait until they get too old.
Oh, he tried to take one look at it and scream and run in the next
And watch
direction.
that. And when you watch his qualifications, he went to school in 58.
Thank you.
When you watch on the wall, he
Kenna.
got his bachelor's, he got his doctorate in dentistry from the University of the West Indies in 1942. Bro, and there's a whole heap of that. But he went and he finished a course back in DC.
And all the
You
person
understand?
looking just
When-
a little bit brown.
When you watch on the counter, he's standing up in front here and all the classmates are in front of BWIA playing. What are you doing? He playing in the back and he's saying BWIA. No! Why doing by you? I'm sorry, brother, but no. You need to stop. You need to stop.
Ooh.
It's hot girl dentist or nothing.
Pretty.
Right? And what I'm saying is, guys, employ that same energy into your relationships now. Understand that you
Upgrade,
have to
upgrades.
do what is necessary. Be brave in your relationship. Be fresh. Think out the box. You understand? Have the be comfortable having the uncomfortable conversations. As Abby just said, she's very vocal, but not vocal. She needs to find someone who could bring that out and make her feel comfortable. Like, oh, she doesn't want to pull in front of the man and everything. You gotta get to the point where you're comfortable to do things like that.
They get no waiting and receipt.
What?
Look, Ayana different. She said getting your man more together before buying him a PS5 is a form of protection.
Hey! Hey! Let me coming through with straight facts.
Listen, she said getting your man mouth put together is better than buying him a
Let him
PS5.
go and take, if he have above a certain age,
Damn.
make sure he go and take his first prostate exam and all them things. The rates of men with prostate cancer is through the roof, particularly
Ridiculous.
black men. Don't buy him the PS5.
But for me personally,
Make him go to the doctor.
I'm one of them who all for that. I have no shame when it comes to that because I understand the importance. At an early age in life, I had a humongous accident that killed the nerves
Right.
in my mouth. I've been doing dental work for a very, very long time. All you know that, you understand? And I will continue. People can see that as shame. I don't see shame in that. It's part of you. You understand? You know, much people out here lose tooth and mash up the mouth and do whatever, and they lose their teeth and you don't know what to do, and you're feeling that kind of way and all that thing. It could be fixed. But people need to understand it can be fixed. Just as how you can fix your mouth, you can fix your relationship.
I will say though that dental work is very expensive.
It is.
Generally, it's
It
not
is.
covered by insurance.
It's not. The work that we have to do is not
Yeah.
covered by insurance. But you know what's the good thing? Being a human being is also an amazing thing. You can have a conversation.
It's true.
You can work things out, and that's what people need to understand. You see, when you can
Payment
put yourself
plans
out
on
there,
things.
of course, you can work things out. It might take what somebody might be able to do in a day. It might take you a couple of months, but you can get there.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
just do what you have to do, have the right conversations, consultation, and that's the same energy you have to put into your relationship. Have conversation, aka consultation.
Yeah,
Say,
if
hey,
you
we
have-
could do this or we can't do this. Do just, and people, I'm just saying this, I'm not putting anything on women. Both men and women, as I say, accountability is important. We have to stop putting out energy and planting seeds in our partner's mind that triggers them or makes them feel less than.
Yeah.
And it's what you spoke about with the competition.
Yeah.
Our generation, our people
stiff
need to stop that.
competition.
Everything is competition. If you, especially the ones who co-parent or try to co-parent and go, you do something for one, the next one go and jump up. But yeah, get this one, come on, we need to get away from that. You have to understand that everything is done for the benefit of the relationship and the children.
And what about even competition between, in terms of who making more money than who has access to certain circles?
No, competition, if you're making more money, then you just need to do more.
Wow, that's true.
That's not a competition with me at all.
Want to be a kept man.
That is not competition at all.
I forget he looking to be a
If you
kept
making
man.
more than me,
You happy?
you just do you, bro. You understand? I will feel so honored if you say, come on, baby, come on, I don't like you driving that old van anymore. Let me get you something, no problem. No problem. No problem at all.
Competition nothing.
Competition nothing for me. If you making money, I am happy.
Glad boy, I'm glad.
But you are very evolved because there are some men for whom that is still, and again, because as Lily reiterated, a lot of men's self-worth is tied up into that idea of machismo of I am the provider, I am the one making the money, I am the wearing the pants and the
That's
house.
the insecure men just do that. Insecure men operate in that space. I have a brethren who, for all my life growing up, has been that person that you look up to, done it right in terms of the book. In terms of what society believes is right. Went to school, got passes, got a good job, do you know that kind of
Did it in order.
in order. Got married, had a family, did all of those things. It so happened along the way, and he wasn't handsome out. He had a great job working for them. It so happened that his wife took his salary and quadrupled. She's making $1, she makes 15.
Wow.
And in that moment, she said, babe, what are you going through all of this for? So many boys.
That's what's up.
And he leads his family still.
Right.
Because she
That
understands.
is a woman not understand.
Yeah.
Understand
Yeah.
that it's
Yeah.
all about that.
Yeah.
So he leads. You will never know for a second she's the breadwinner.
Wow.
But
Breadwinner.
I'm only saying breadwinner in terms of finances. But
Right.
when you see them and the family,
They
he
operate
leads
as
his
a
family.
unit.
But because you see, there are a lot of people who still feel as though being at home is not necessarily a real job or is not worth as much. You understand? In terms of homemaking, in terms of, I think if it's one thing the Ponderosa taught us is that you see having that one person at home, or I mean at least one person at home with children, doing that nurturing thing with children, having contact with children all of the time. If you can manage that, I mean, if you can't because you need to do what it is you need to do, then you make certain allowances, fine. But if you can, and they are fortunate enough to be able to do that, why wouldn't you? Whether it's the man or the woman, why wouldn't you? So we need to stop judging those things and deciding which role is for who and what makes you supposedly weak or strong.
Every role is of great importance.
Of course. And all of those things are part of feeling protected, feeling safe in a relationship. It is not only about your man could lick down somebody on your behalf. Yeah?
So it's creating that safe space within your own home. That is real protection.
Yeah, facts.
Bro, why you send me this? You send this a trigger. He's sending me personal messages to his phone that's coming from girls who went to bishops and they're speaking in a tone that is really
Wow.
bothering me. You know?
Okay.
Hey, shouts to Chanel. Shouts to Chanel.
Morning, Chanel.
Hi, Chanel.
What Chanel saying?
Yeah, you can't tell me
Yeah,
Chanel is
yeah.
triggering you and then you tell me what Chanel says.
She's praising Abby.
Right.
She's saying here that she said, oh my God, Nix, who's that girl on the station with Cleveland? So you know automatically. She said, who's that girl on the radio with Cleveland? You know the direction of the conversation. Hi Nix, who's that girl on the station with Cleveland? She's so eloquent. You understand? And able to present arguments, very refreshing to hear on the radio. Reminds me of us Bishop's girl. I'm going home.
Morning, Chanel.
I'm going home. Okay, Chanel and you Bishop's girls and
I
Abigail.
always have to say it. I am not a bishop's girl, but I feel like an honorary bishop.
Wow.
Because all they drink from is the
I'm
same
from
pipe of water that all they
I
drink
went
from.
naps. It is totally
Naps
different.
water, Bishop's water, same water.
It's not the same water.
They put the same chlorine and all they drink.
You
They
mean there's
drip
only positive black?
That is correct.
Oh, okay.
Very eloquent, she said.
Eloquent.
Eloquent, bro.
Eloquent.
The
Get
same,
it right.
the same eloquent who was in the hallway for Bishop dance and come on the ground.
The same eloquent
Go down and
who
go
wear
down and go down
pants,
and then
who
go
pants
down
always
and
outside. You
eloquent.
understand? Chanel, let me show you how eloquent she is, right? Let me show you. What kind of man you girl? Go on, hold on. You see? What kind of house you just live in, girl?
B-I-G
What kind of man you girl?
M-O-N-E.
Why? You see? Very eloquent.
Lovely.
Listen to me. Okay, it's about nuance. It's about balance. Alright?
Correct. The word is about that.
Nuance and balance.
So guys,
Big up you, Chanel.
big up you, Chanel. Top of the morning to you, alright? I ain't gonna lie, boy. I love it, but we gotta go. All great things come to an end, and we appreciate you guys so much. Hold on. I love the fact that love is lovely, and being able to have a safe feeling in a relationship is amazing. Everybody wants that, honey.
Yeah.
I don't think there's a person on the planet that would not want to feel safe in a relationship. It's most important. Alright? I'm just doing this now.
Uh-huh.
You understand?
Right,
So we want to say bye, guys, until next week. Oh, I'm not going to be in next week. Just to let you all know
Yeah,
that.
he's booked and busy, guys. Booked
I'm
and
not going to
busy.
be in next week. So
Booked and busy.
you have a
Have a
fun
good
one.
one.
Have a great one. Catch
Don't
you
worry,
on-
when you're not here, we're going to be eloquent, you know?
Gossip.
Try our best to be eloquent.
Why so it's gossip?
You know what I mean?
Eloquent.
I got a feeling that you're toting.
I feel so. I get total much. It's
I mean,
total much.
listen, I love it, I love it.
Toting
come
on.
Let's live for the drama, you know?
The chat is
Yeah,
pumping.
yeah, pump. Yeah, we're gonna go drag a come down from the time and place. Time and place. How you bring that in? No, I just wanted to show the people her versatility, guys. That's all. If it's one thing about Bill Jackson, she's a very versatile black woman. She wears a lot of caps. You understand? She knows. She's the type of woman that you can, like, I can see her on the arm of a budding prime minister.
Aww.
I can see it. I can see it. I can see her on the arm of a young prime minister.
Everybody will know that his wife is a cuss bud.
It's not a matter of cost, but they will
What
have a
thing?
level of respect, and because you two can articulate yourself and intelligent to the point where you're never going to make him feel less than or embarrassed.
I got you.
You can stand your own. He
Yeah.
can
I got
leave
you,
you
I
in
got
a
you.
room with wolves, and you will come out victorious.
Yeah, man.
And that's
Yeah, man.
any young budding politician
Yeah.
He's Auntie
needs
Sharon,
someone
he's
like
Auntie
that.
Sharon Vale too, you know. Auntie Sharon
I
is
was actually thinking about
and she's a
Michelle.
bishop.
Yeah, I was
thinking about
more saying
Michelle.
Michelle.
But Auntie Sharon have it, huh?
Yeah, she does.
Sure,
Yeah, she does.
Yeah, but she's
I was really
been,
thinking
to me,
Michelle.
no disrespect to her in the office, I just think she's been silent for too long.
Now she's been doing her thing. It
Yeah,
may
but-
not be publicized as much as Mr.
She
Lowry,
has
but
her own advocacy,
She
yes.
is going.
She
and
does.
she is doing her
But
thing.
immediately, who came to mind was Michelle.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah, of course.
Michelle Lavon, yeah, you don't ramp with Michelle Lavon. Yeah.
He can leave her in a room anywhere,
Yeah.
anytime.
Yeah.
And she knows he never does
She
that.
has
but-
her.
Jada had her vibes too.
You couldn't resist, eh? You
You
couldn't resist. We was going so well.
Good,
But she
brother.
does. She has
What
that.
vibe she have?
Me
Other
know
than
what
taking
vibe-
much.
Me know what vibe Jada have. I
Jada is
refuse.
very eloquent.
I'm not engaged.
Right? Yes?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Alright, cool. Guess what Red Table Talk?
I don't.
Okay, very well.
Guys, are we gone? And we know it's late, but we're gonna do what's trending.
Oh,
and then
Jada
we're
the
gonna
silence
leave
all in that way.
it. Alright?
Let us
Appreciate you
slap
guys so
rock.
much for being a part of the conversation.
Have
Catch
you
us
been
back
guys?
Want to
same
slap
time,
somebody right
same
now, yeah?
place. Next week, we are always here to have great conversations
Yeah, man.
with you guys and speak on things that not everybody wants to talk about and do it
Eloquently.
eloquently.